there, and welcome to Force Talk, a Star Wars podcast. And we've got the full crew back together for tonight's episode. Lots of stuff to cover. There's loads of really cool stuff in the Star Wars news we're going to be covering. We're also going to be discussing another beloved character from the Star Wars universe in Chosen Ones, and we're sharing with you the last two interviews from Star Wars Fan Fun Day. Lots to do. Let's get on with it. Okay, Star Wars news. Loads of stuff to be looking at here. First of all, the famous Annie Leibovitz has done another shoot for Vanity Fair magazine. So let's take a look at these pictures. So we're going to look at the covers first. There's a number of different covers to collect. That's how you can buy it for. Make them more money. First one, we've got a great shot of Rey and Luke Skywalker. Is that... Oh, you can just about make out this this brown glove that he's wearing. You see that there? Mm-hmm. It becomes clear in some of the other pictures. But, yeah, Rey's pretty much wearing the outfit that she arrives in.
I mean, do we definitely know that's a glove? Because, like, there may not be toilet paper on Act 2.
Oh, God. It's definitely a glove, Nicholas. Right, so Rey's pretty much like wearing the Force Awakens outfit, and it looks like they've just stepped out of that final scene of the Force Awakens, doesn't it? Pretty much. The next one, we've got Kylo Ren, General Hux, and Captain Phasma, but without the helmet this time. Mm-hmm. So we actually get to see her face. Now, do we think she's gonna whip that helmet off?
I think so, yeah. Because she was so disappointing in The Force Awakens, wasn't she? So they need to flesh out the character, so I think it's time to reveal her face.
Also, additional thing of new action figure. So that'll be why.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, that'll be why.
Yes, that's true. They've got figures to flog.
I'm quite surprised that's her look, though. I thought they'd have gone something a bit less Game of Thrones style.
Well, they can't really change her face, can they?
No, it's just the blonde hair, though.
You think they'd have gone dark or something?
Yeah, might have gone for something a bit different.
Yeah, still is a little bit. General Hux looks pretty much the same, although he's got his hair looking a bit slicker. Mm-hmm. Another look at Kylo Ren with his moving scar there as well, of course.
Yeah, his new cape.
Oh, and his new cape,
Darth Vader style cape.
Longer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Oh, and it looks like she's got a big silver staff as well this time.
It's interesting how the villains are unmasked in this film.
Yeah.
Makes a change.
Again? Figures,
yeah. I'm tired of reading that.
So, looking at the next picture...
Poe's got a new coat.
Yeah, Poe looking remarkably like Han Solo with exactly the same shirt.
And
Do you approve?
And the pose. Do I approve? No!
It's very...
Do I approve of them making all of the slightly cool characters look like Han Solo, like they did with Cassian in Rogue One?
Yeah.
It's very Return the Jedi.
There is one Han Solo.
It might just be the look in the galaxy.
I mean, there's two now.
Well,
sorry.
Yeah,
but there is.
No, I'm still just pretending that that's not happening until the film comes out. We'll just wait and see. And it's the first time we've got a good look at. Sorry, what's the female actress's name?
Oh, Kelly Marie Tran.
Kelly Marie Tran is character, and obviously they're hanging out there, so it looks like, well, it seems obvious that her and Finn are going to have like quite a bit of time together, an adventure, possibly a romance.
Possibly. I just hope.
Although Finn and Poe are looking quite close in that picture.
They are. I just hope they've stitched his jacket up, because that's still Poe's jacket that he was wearing when he fought Kylo Ren, isn't it? So
that's true.
It's a bit shame he can't afford a new jacket, really.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it is a cool jacket. It's probably worth salvaging if you can. Can you stick leather in a back to tank? Would that still work?
Yeah, maybe. Why not?
So he also has feelings for Poe if he's kept that jacket for that long and it's all skanky and blood stained.
There you go.
Wearing Poe's jacket.
It's all right. It's okay. Don't worry. He might be,
he's all yours.
He might be space bisexual. You never know.
Space bisexual.
Space. Like Carrie Fisher always used to say, like, space before everything. We were going through a space divorce and that kind of stuff. So you just have to stick space in front of anything like that, I think, when you're dealing with Star Wars. And obviously thermal exhaust ports, but let's not retread those jokes again. Carrie Fisher, the late great Carrie Fisher there as Princess Leia, General Leia. She's looking a lot more regal in this particular film.
Yeah, it's a great picture, that, isn't it?
It is
The cover,
cracking.
nice.
Does anybody have any theories as to why the outfit is so dark?
I think it's just an official robe, really. I don't think you can read anything into it necessarily on the cover.
And yet people always do.
Oh, yeah. They're bound to, aren't they?
What do you think? She has become a grey general in between.
Maybe.
Definitely not grey.
Hard to say.
Well, yeah, it all looks pretty cool. So we've been through those. Now, let's go into these pictures of the characters. We've got this
I believe it's some sort of space casino.
Is that what it is?
It is.
It's on the new casino planet. Canto something? Oh, I forgot the name.
Just made up words, mate. It's Derpalabalaba for the planet of Harvard, yeah?
But yeah, apparently we're supposed to be seeing the sort of more higher levels of society now in this film. Instead of like the grungy, mass-listed cantinas, we're now seeing the hoi polloi.
Yeah,
the galaxy.
That makes sense because
Canto Bite, it's just come to me. B-I-G-H-T. You're all probably going to correct me because it's probably wrong. But
see, Michael's been doing his homework on holiday. But
When
yeah,
I saw
that's interesting because like you say, we've never really sort of seen the Star Wars, the space bourgeoisie.
No.
Have we?
The only thing is, when I saw this, at first I thought it was something from Doctor Who. It didn't look very Star Wars.
Yeah.
Some of the aliens look a bit like they've
different,
just walked off the BBC set. I want to see some original Twi'leks and Rhodians and some of the original aliens that were like throughout the original saga. They seem to have forgotten about them now.
But also at the same time, space is pretty big. We're not going to keep seeing the same species. Although, that being said, we always see humans. So humans are pretty common.
So it's good that there's some new-looking characters, but
Yeah, it does. It also feels a little bit.
clean.
No, well, yeah, but it also feels a little bit like Fifth Element vibe as well to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see another level of society, like you say, in this film.
Yeah. There's a lady who looks like Peter Kay in one of the pictures as well, which is interesting.
We never know. Star Wars car share is coming up. Yeah. So there's a shot of Kylo Ren swinging his lightsaber. No.
Sarah.
There's not really much you can say about that. I mean, it just looks like Kylo Ren swinging a lightsaber. I love the black and white shot of Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Kathleen Kennedy with Ryan Johnson. I said Ryan last week because I like to mispronounce everybody's names. But with an I, really, it's Ryan.
I was on holiday watching the show and I was like, it's Ryan.
If you want to be called Ryan, spell it with a Y, mate. Simple as that.
As you not get invited to the premiere.
Sorry, we've got to blame his parents, not Ryan. But yeah, I love I love that shot. Obviously, the famous Star Wars dogs.
Oh yeah,
visible in the picture there, Gary. And is it Millie? Mark Hamill's dog. I think it is Millie. Yeah. So that's really nice. Just going back through. There's a picture of Anthony Daniels with what looks like the robot team. I mean, I don't know what your feelings on it. Do you think he does all of the C-3PO stuff on set still now?
I think he probably does. I mean, he didn't do much in The Force Awakens anyway, did he?
Yeah.
He just waddle around a bit, so...
Are you trying to say that the beloved Anthony Daniels has done nothing else but Star Wars? You must remember him when he was in... Or when he did... whatever else it was, other than Star Wars.
That's Sarah not got invited to the premiere.
Just you mean it.
Eat around with that being said,
I did make a joke about Luke wiping his butt with his own hands.
You did.
So that's probably me not getting invited.
I don't know why you got that as well.
You did. Still, there you go.
It's exactly why I just keep washing this and save on toilet paper.
Recycling, save the planet.
Anyway, back to the photo.
Yes.
Anyway, so we're in the cockpit of. So, hey, what did you knew about? What else?
Anthony Daniels was in I Bought a Vampire Motorcycle.
Wow.
With Michael Elphick and Neil Morris. So,
well, there you go.
Call yourself completed.
So, so that's the other thing you did. There you go.
Still never heard of it.
Yeah. I don't think you were meant to.
Okay.
I've not even heard of Alan Partridge. Right, so there's a picture of Chewie and Rey in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. Again, looks pretty much like they've just arrived from, you know, one of the last shots of The Force Awakens.
Or could be going off on a new adventure.
Could be going off on a new adventure.
Where's Luke, though?
That's true.
Dead.
Although
Could
it's
be in a can. Just, I'm assuming the Millennium Falcon has a toilet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think
With
so.
fresh toilet paper.
There you go.
So,
Getting a shower for the
it's
first
like,
time.
oh my god, I'm
Toilet
not seeing
theme
this.
tonight.
No, isn't there like
Tyler
a droid in the toilet that sort of just takes
Like a jet wash.
care of that for you? Yeah, yeah.
A biddy. A biddy dress.
like you know, bag to fluid gets shot at you.
We have actually seen our first ever Star Wars toilet in Rebels.
What?
Really?
That was a debut for this last season. There was our first ever Star Wars toilet. We get to see an Imperial officer having a whiz.
So does that then mean that everybody poops is now canon?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh my God.
Luna will be glad to hear that. Yeah, so it still feels kind of, I don't know, it still looks like brand new. That it still feels kind of weird that it's not like Han Solo and Chewie at the controls.
I think we need to accept that hands.
I know.
Chewie will never die though because it's just a bloke in a costume and therefore endless marketing.
There you go. Let's not get me started on how they mistreated the legacy cast when it came to merchandising for Force Awakens.
Oh yeah. Go on,
There wasn't
you
any.
might as well.
There wasn't any.
Well, there's that Elite Series Han Solo.
Yeah, but those came so much later. When the film came out,
That's true.
everything was the new main characters, BB-8, C-3PO, R2-D2, and Chewie. No Luke Skywalker. No Carrie Fisher.
I think at the time,
No Han Solo.
especially in the early days of the film, they probably considered it a spoiler. It is still weird that there's no Luke Skywalker now, but they're probably just holding off to The Last Jedi, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess so. Still, the pictures of the picture of Mark and Kerry together is really
Yeah, it's a great
Quite.
picture, that.
lovely. And you can see the leather glove there, obviously, that's covering up his robot hand. Really great picture of Kerry with Billy Lord. So we can assume that maybe her character is expanded in the next film.
Yeah.
That's really about. I love this the shot of Rey as well doing
Yeah.
training. I think that's my favourite shot of the.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then
favourite
there's
shot of the set.
The shots of
yes.
first look at Laura Dern and Benicio del Toro.
Del Toro.
He's playing someone's just referred to as DJ, but apparently we don't hear his name in the film.
Apparently,
at all.
we know why. When we watch it, everybody's speculating that it's
whether it's
Dark
like
Jedi.
spinning
I just
spinning
think
a
it's
few
disc
discs or
jockey.
something.
Yeah, I just think it's disc jockey. I think he's just got like a.
That was my impression of a DJ, by the way.
Who's that?
What do you want to do about it?
DJ Michael
I'm
in
not
the
going
mix.
to any of your concerts.
Wasn't there? Did I see some daft fan theory that compared Benicio del Toro's character to the guy from Rebels?
Ezra.
No, Ezra.
Yeah, I mean,
No, not Ezra.
Oh,
I don't think it
not
was
Ezra.
Ezra.
like I have heard a prevailing theory that he will be playing Ezra, but whether that
Right.
is
I
the
don't think
case
it
or
will
not.
be. I think it'll just be a new kind of bounty hunter type character. His costume's quite gritty, isn't it? Sort of a bit Han Solo-esque and
Yeah, he looks cool, but then Benicio del Toro always looks cool. But what about Laura Dern's character? I mean,
Pink
she's
hair.
definitely part
Yeah,
of this.
yeah.
I'm loving the hair.
He's definitely part of this
the elite
hyperlight.
resistance
Yeah.
leader. She looks very Hunger Games, I think, in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think I've really seen that many characters with funky pink or green hair or anything like that. It's quite.
Never an artificial
It's
hair
quite
colour. Other than an
sci-fi-ish.
alien. So this is our first human with artificial hair colouring.
Did you like the dress, Sarah?
Yes.
Would you wear it?
No.
No.
I think you'd suit it more.
And what did we say her
It's very
character's name was? Now it's been revealed.
Vice Admiral
Holdo.
Holdo?
Vice Admiral Holdo.
Holdo.
Right.
yeah.
So,
Holdo.
do we think there's obviously going to be some kind of maybe a bit of a face down
Yeah, I
between
think
her
it's
and
Clash with Leia.
Clash with Leia? So, should
Yeah.
be interesting. So, all in all, pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Right, so let's move on to the next news article about this. Well, this won't be our fault that if we've not invited to the premiere, because this is from the words from the mouth of the beloved Mark Hamill. This is from MovieWeb. Adam Driver refused to hang out with Mark Hamill.
What? How could anyone refuse to hang
Who
out with
does
Mark
not want to hang out with the Hamill? What is that all about? Right, so apparently, he's got a reputation like Jared Leto, where he's just taking things too far on set and stuff like that. So Mark Hamill had good intentions of hanging out with Driver. His character, Luke Skywalker, is uncle to Driver's Kylo Ren. Hamill thought it might be a good idea for them to get to know each other, get the on-screen rapport going and stuff like that. Driver felt differently. So, is this where we get the quote from? This was actually in the Vanity Fair article, but we're quoting it from MovieWeb. I remember saying to Adam, I don't know how you work or your technique, but at some point, you were my nephew. I probably bounced you on my knee. I probably babysat for you. There's that side, and now we're both estranged from the Skywalker family. All I'm suggesting is, if you'd like, maybe we could go to lunch. We could get together and hang out.
Oh.
And Adam Driver,
Driver said no.
What a...
Hamill's reaction to that was more power to him. He said, there's big personal things that I find about every character, not just in Star Wars, that you have to make as personal as possible. It's the big joke about being an actor, that you make everything you're doing seem like it's life or death. The thing about that character that I find painful, that I really relate to, I kind of prefer to keep to myself. So,
AKA spoilers.
Yeah. So he just kind of didn't want to hang out with Mark Hamill.
To me, though, if he's taken that approach, he should have gone out, because he is Luke's nephew, and like Mark Hamill says, they would have hung out. So then it would kind of build the character more than just trying to be angry all the time. So
yeah,
I'd have gone for lunch with him.
Exactly. Calls himself a method actor.
Indeed.
I don't know. So there's.
I suppose he could have just method acted that he was younger and like Luke was his uncle and they were going out for ice cream. I mean, I'm sure that happened.
Yeah.
So.
Unless Mark actually did mean he wanted to sit Adam Driver on his knee and bounce him up and down.
Oh.
Maybe that's...
Space ice cream. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've not met the guy, so I don't know if he's difficult yet, but...
I mean, we've also not met Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill might have some weird quirks.
I have met Mark Hamill.
Yeah, but...
Only very briefly.
Yeah, but you're not really the most normal of people, are you?
No, that's true. He did actually mention that when I met him. No.
So he is an asshole.
No, we talked about Lauren Hardy.
Oh, fair enough.
Very briefly, because he's a big Lauren Hardy fan. So, right. So the other piece of news was this is from Den of Geek about Star Wars 9 would have been Carrie Fisher's film. So Kathleen Kennedy basically confirmed that, and it seemed to after they made Han Solo the focus of the first film. I said, well, they're obviously this is going to be a thing now. It'll be Han Solo, Luke Skywalker,
and Leia.
And Leia made sense, but apparently Carrie Fisher did sort of lean on Kathleen Kennedy and said, you know, this film better be mine.
Yeah, I think Kathleen Kennedy said she'd be front and centre of episode 9.
So
that being said, though, there has been another news thing that I've read this week that said Rian Johnson wrote the script for episode 8, and they had no pre-planned thing for it.
I find that really hard to believe. I can't believe that.
I find that worrying as well.
Case,
I don't think they'd just written Force Awakens.
I don't find it so worrying. I find that reassuring because that means if episode 9 was meant to be Leia's film, that was very vague in concept. Like, they didn't have any real plans.
I just find it really unlikely, though, that they've started a new trilogy and not known where it's going to end. I don't think you'd write The Force Awakens and just say, right, Ryan, there you go. We have no idea what's happening next.
Yeah, but Michael, J.J. Abrams lost.
Yeah, but...
Lost.
So, I
TV show.
Oh.
It basically started out with all these
right,
questions.
sorry.
Lost something then.
None of them got resolved.
I think
a few
Kathleen
of them got
Kennedy's a bit
resolved,
more in control. I mean, when you look at George Lucas, say what you want about the prequels, you knew exactly the story arc from beginning to end. And I think he winged it a bit on the original trilogy, because I don't think it was quite necessarily planned out that Luke and Leia were brother and sister until Return of the Jedi. But I think if they haven't planned out where they're going yet, it seems a bit unlikely. But I just think if they have planned Episode 9 to be Leia's film, it's almost like making me dread seeing Episode 9 now, because if they're going to have to rewrite it and change the whole story arc just to... To me, it makes it feel more like there's a stronger case, more so now than ever, for them to recast Leia, so that we get the story they wanted to tell, rather than just fudging it. So I'm really nervous now about Episode 9. I don't want to watch it.
I think everybody's. It's kind of the same situation that like for Dark Knight was in, following into for Dark Knight Rises, because obviously the original plan was Heath Ledger was going to be a big part of that film. And then, obviously, he died, so everything just went up in the air. And they still got a decent film out of it, but, it wasn't their, like, number one plan. So
because there's bound to have been that confrontation between Leia and Kylo Ren at some point. I don't think we're going to get that in 8. So it'll just feel really absent, I think, from the trilogy if you never got to see Kylo confront his mum, or who knows, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it?
I'm definitely less against recasting, though. I'm sure there's a few actresses out there that could do justice to the character of Leia. I think it serves the character right to complete the story rather than just write her off.
To be honest, like I'd be okay with recasting, but only if they did a Grand Moff Tarkin job and made it at least try and look like Carrie Fisher, because I think it'd be really off-putting for me to go into the film and just try and accept a new actress as Leia.
Nah.
Especially if it was like following on from... It's like for the first couple of Harry Potter films, like you've got for changing actor from... I forget what the original one's called, but...
Dumbledore.
Yeah, well, I know it's Dumbledore, but to be honest, I forgot both the actors' names. But, yeah, that change, it's like, wasn't as big of a deal because it wasn't such an integral character, but obviously Leia is a massive deal in Star Wars, so...
Yeah.
Can't really do that.
It's tricky, isn't it?
I'm against the recasting, but...
We'll see. I suppose it'll end very much... depend on how Episode 8 ends.
Yeah.
And if it feels like there's just really hanging storyline where it just ends where you need to know what happens to Leia, they'll have to do something. They can't just then... It'd be like getting to the end of Empire Strikes Back and then saying, opening crawl, Han died when he was frozen, or...
Right, yeah.
Luke fell off Bespin after all, and, you need to know what happens to that character.
Yeah.
So it depends, I think, what they do in 8.
Yeah. Agreed. So, I think that's your
Lego.
lot. Oh, yeah. We're not going to show the picture though, folks.
Spoiler alert.
We're not going to show the picture because the quality is atrocious. But
so, no spoiler alert.
No, but yeah, apparently they've kind of, it's leaked that one of the boxes for one of the new Star Wars Lego sets has got like a picture of Supreme Leader Snoke looking... Spoiler alert! Looking like
he's got gold robes
fancy
on.
Gold robes.
I love gold. Looking like Supreme Leader Gold member. So does that mean he's going to be sort of
up for a smoking a pancake?
Yeah, smoking a pancake, sort of storing his shedding skin, eating it and stuff like that. That'd be quite interesting.
They've lost me now, actually. I don't know what they're...
Have you not seen that film? It's a good film.
I have no idea what film you're even talking about.
Goldmember.
There's really no point making any pop culture references in this show. We'll just do those ones separately.
Austin Powers?
Yes, Austin Powers.
Why can you say that?
That's what I said, Goldmember.
You said Goldmember, not Austin Powers.
I see what you were thinking. Right, okay.
I think Goldfinger, and then kind of went into a different direction because you said member.
And there's a black BB-8 in there.
Yes, there's a black BB-8, so...
I always thought in Force Awakens, when you saw BB-8, there was going to be lots of other little BB units rolling around. I thought it was a bit odd that there was just the one. I don't think there would just be one.
In A New Hope, I think there was only one R2-D2.
No, R2 was normal astromech.
Yavin base, there was R2 units everywhere.
Yeah, but did they all have different heads, though?
Well, yeah, they're all different colours, aren't they?
Yeah,
I thought you might
none of
have
them had the dome,
R2,
did they?
R5.
I was
is what
waiting
he's
for
saying.
I was waiting for the merchandise for the green BB-8 and the blue BB-7 and
Oh yeah,
I thought they'd be like, so it makes sense there's more than just one.
They'll get round to it. They've got to sell more robot figures, man.
So I don't think it's a big shock that there's another BB unit out there.
No.
That'll be for Sphero.
Maybe
so
it'll be
like get another one of those little.
Exactly.
Maybe it'll be Kylo Ren's BB-8 or
Yeah.
whatever. So before we get out of here, with regards to that, let's give another mention to the Club Star Wars competition. Remember, the idea is to create a unique piece for the Xbox Club Star Wars background. And I messed this up last week, or Matt did when he sent the thing over. It should be 1920 by 1080, and you need to quote your Xbox user handle. Gamer tag. Thank you for speaking fluent gamer, which I clearly don't. And you could submit your efforts to clubstarwars@outlook.com. Thank you very much. Okay, now it's time for Chosen Ones, and I'll now hand you over to Michael, who's going to tell you who our Chosen One is.
Yeah, well, this time we are talking about Mr. Sheev Palpatine, a.k.a. Darth Sidious, a.k.a. the Emperor. Obviously, he's been in every film from episode 1 to 6, more just mentioned in episode 4, briefly seen in episode 5, but certainly present in Return of the Jedi. Obviously, most of you know who Palpatine is. If you've watched any of the films, you should have a good idea, basically. He's obviously a senator from Naboo, Queen Amidala's home planet, and he rose to power during the events of the Clone Wars. He, as Darth Sidious, was responsible for bringing the invasion of Naboo, manipulating things behind the scene with the Trade Federation, and then he was voted as Supreme Chancellor. He then manipulated things further. He actually created the Clone War itself and was responsible for gaining more emergency and executive powers until he declared himself Emperor in Revenge of the Sith. And as you all know, he groomed Anakin really from a young age and always had eyes on him as being his main apprentice, obviously because he probably knew he was the chosen one. And then as Emperor, he had his reign of terror, ruling the galaxy with an iron fist until Vader threw him down a pit at the end of Return of the Jedi. So, I don't think there's much more to say about...
She's down a shaft.
She's down a shaft. So, yeah, a few items of discussion really to throw open to the panel. And I'll start with something I always thought was a bit slightly strange when you think about it. That he actually came from the nice garden planet of Naboo, where he probably spent his youth rowing around in a little boat on a lake and chasing Amidala. Oh no, she would have been a little girl, so hopefully not chasing Amidala.
Yeah, you've already said grooming. Let's not do that.
Okay. So I just wonder what your thoughts are on how do you think he ended up becoming a Sith Lord? I mean, how would Plagueis, if obviously Plagueis was his master, have maybe sensed him on Naboo? Or
Maybe he got groomed as well.
Go on, give us your thoughts, Sarah.
He got groomed. He got chosen, probably felt his presence. Plagueis found him. You're mine, done dusted.
Yeah, taken off planet, do you think? Or
No. Naboo had plenty of crystal caves and all that, so he could have got lured into one of them.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's good. Paddy?
Well, so we know for a fact that he was born... Do we know he was born and raised on Naboo?
Star Wars databank. I'm relying on the Star Wars databank.
Right.
So if they're wrong... Who knows?
Everything's wrong.
But no, yeah, because he was Senator of Naboo in The Phantom Menace as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, of course.
And he's, Queen Amidala always, when she addresses him in Phantom Menace, says, our people, and I'm returning home. So I think it's always been known he's from Naboo. I just find it a bit just strange that he's come from such a nice place.
It is very weird, like you say. But I didn't know that about the caves, like you were saying. But I don't know, it would seem like he would need to be sort of identified and then taken somewhere else to become a Sith. It seems like...
Well, those lovely waterfalls.
A really nice place to be training to be a Sith Lord, isn't it?
He doesn't mention anything about parents. It could be possible that he was adopted by Plagueis.
Possibly.
I don't know if it's canon, but he apparently came from like a pretty rich family.
Most Imperial people do.
Yeah. And apparently he murdered his parents. like when he was sort of like,
Plagueis again.
because from what I understand, he sort of like started looking into the dark side on his own, like, and I think he murdered his parents, and that's when Plagueis sensed him. So he was just like, oh.
A ripple in the force.
We got
There's a new kid in town.
Basically over here.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what sort of initially attracted him to it. Apparently, as well, Palpatine had some dark side knowledge that even Plagueis didn't know about.
Oh, right.
This is all legends, so
Yeah, I was going.
ultimately irrelevant.
I mean, I must admit, so the guys out here probably know more of the canon around Palpatine than I do, but I don't think they've explored that much yet. So pre-Phantom Menace, have they really? It's not a lot in canon, so we don't know his origins.
I mean,
yet,
to
do
be
we?
fair, I think Palpatine would be gold for a standalone film.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Would you see it maybe being one of these standalone films in the future? Would you like to see a Palpatine film or a Netflix series?
absolutely.
Netflix series.
Netflix
Good.
series would be good, but I'd settle for a film. But the real question is, like, I'm assuming we're doing young Palpatine, young Sheev.
Yeah, it'd have to be before Phantom Menace, wouldn't it? So-
Yeah.
I know some people have said they'd like Tom Hiddleston to play him, so
Yeah,
a bit too tall.
complicated Star Wars names again.
To be honest, I'd be okay with Tom Hiddleston playing Palpatine. Or Palpy, as I like to call him.
Palpy.
Well, I think it would make a good origin film, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you say, there's a hell of a lot of mystery around.
Because it's less, he's going to turn to the dark side, so that's probably less of the focus. It's maybe more.
I don't think it was
Why
even a
not
case
he's
of
doing
turning. I think he was just always bad. He is basically Space Hitler. Like, his rise to power completely just parallels Hitler's rise to power in the 1930s. Like, I think that was a very intentional thing that George Lucas did.
Yeah.
Especially in, like, the way that he had false
So,
flag attacks and
Are
stuff
you
like
trying
that.
to say that he was born evil or he became evil? Nurtured or nature?
That's a good question. Like, I don't think anybody's born evil, like, just in general.
Okay, so something clearly has happened to him to...
Well, it's interesting you say that. I heard a rumour that George Lucas's original idea for the TV series that he was going to do years back was going to be about Palpatine, and apparently, now take this with a pinch of salt, 'cause I read this on the internet, but apparently it was about him being young and being in love with a lady, presumably, who then dies, and what the circumstances around the way he loses her turned him to the dark side. But I thought that was a bit it's
too
just like Anakin again. But I don't know how true that is, so it's just something I read
He could
somewhere.
have had his mind twisted by like a Sith holocron or something.
Yeah, I mean, there can be a myriad of reasons why somebody would sort of go that full evil, because there wasn't like a shred of good in him, was this? So
No.
I think as something that has to be nurtured over time and just like has that behaviour reinforced again and again and again.
Well, the next question is something that it's always confused me slightly, so maybe you guys can actually help me make sense of this. In Return of the Sith, right? When,
Revenge.
Revenge. Oh dear. Revenge of the Sith. When he sat in the opera house with Anakin, he tells Anakin the story of Darth Plagueis, and he says, and I've written this down from memory, so hopefully I'm getting the quote exactly right. He says to Anakin, referring to Darth Plagueis, he taught his apprentice everything he knew, and then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. And then shortly later, when Anakin's chopped Mace's hand off and Darth Sidious is stood there, he says, if we work together, I'm sure we can discover the secret, meaning the secret of saving
Yes.
people from death. So one of those has got to be a lie, because if Plagueis taught him everything he knew, he wouldn't need to work with someone to discover the secret.
That's it.
So which of those do you think is a lie, or am I just overanalyzing it?
You might be overanalyzing it.
No, I did pick up on that as well, because it's like, you know, he tricks Anakin into the dark side because he thinks he's going to get that knowledge, and then next minute when he does, he's like, actually, you know, I don't know that yet, but
You got to work for it.
I'm sure if we work together, we could discover it, you know. And then he's like, "What have I done?" So I would be inclined to think that he doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
He maybe thought he discovered the answer from Plagueis,
He's just reeling Anakin in, do you think?
Before he killed him, and then afterwards it was too late. You know, he didn't find that out, or he was just reeling Anakin in. I don't know. What do you think?
It's hard to say, really, isn't it? Because I don't think you'd ever find out for definite which one it was. Like, I think for the lie was probably the Eternal Life one.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever knew. I don't think Plagueis even knew.
I also don't know.
It's like if he managed to kill Plagueis, and it's obviously not all he cracked up to be.
So I had a nice little theory when Revenge of the Sith first came out. Before I actually saw the film, I think there was some things that leaked, a few spoilers saying, you know, that you can cheat death. I was thinking he was when Anakin and Obi-Wan had their duel, and then Anakin was injured. I thought he was going to use his powers to bring Anakin back to life. Almost like
there is a precedent for that in Legends, because I believe, and you'll probably be more of an expert on this than I am, Sarah, but Exar Kun, I believe something similar happened to him with like something falling on him, like messing up and used for the dark side to basically heal himself. If that rings any bells, it's been a while since I read it.
It has been a while since I've read anything in Exar Kun. Don't remember anything falling on him.
It may not have been that, but I remember there being something about him basically getting injured and then using the dark side to sort of like... I think he may have even like sapped the life out of other living beings that are there at the time. To sort of
he did like manipulating lots of stuff to draw their energy.
So I think that would have been a good way they could have done it. You know, and he finds Anakin on the lava and he sort of touches on his forehead. I thought there's going to be like this mystical red sparkly stuff's going to appear around Anakin now, and he's bringing him back to life, and that would explain why in...
Checking if he's well done.
It's a bit of a pork crackle.
Going gold member on it.
Yeah, again.
But that would have explained at the end of Return of the Jedi why Vader dies when he's killed the Emperor, as if the Emperor had been keeping him alive. But anyway, I digress.
Ah.
But,
that would have been better.
I always thought, I never quite understood why a couple of zaps to Vader's life support would have killed him, really.
We keep saying this. These podcasts are just basically our audition tape for to be on the Lucasfilm storyboard. You know what I mean?
So to me, if it had actually been Palpatine keeping Vader alive using his dark side powers, it would explain when he killed Palpatine. That's why Vader died immediately after. But
I understand that.
He died of a broken heart as well, like Papa.
I understand that it did basically just fry his life support. That's why Darth Vader doesn't ever use Force Lightning, because he had the power, but it just messed with his life support, so he couldn't do it without being
backfire up his hands.
I'm really mad. So,
well, moving forward with the new canon, I've not yet read the Aftermath trilogy. Now, I know there are some hints in the last book that Palpatine was obsessed about going out to the unknown regions of the galaxy and looking for the source of the dark side. Now, I know we've touched on this before, I think, in a previous show, whether Snoke's actually come from the unknown regions. But would you have liked to have seen, or would you like to see more of that explored in a future film, rather than read it out in the books? You know, maybe like even if they do an animated series, see Palpatine communicating with Snoke, or what else he was doing when he was chilling out on Coruscant all those years.
Personally, I think it'd probably be best left to the imagination. There's a lot of stuff with, like, the bad guys often are. It's like seeing Anakin kill a bunch of like Jedis and stuff was nowhere near as cool as just imagining it. So I think it's probably going to be the same way with Palpy and exploring the outer regions.
Sarah?
Leave it to the imagination.
Okie doke. And one more question. I don't want to drag it out too long.
Your opinion's not worth anything on that.
Because I pretty much agreed with you anyway, so, you know.
Do you think, in hindsight, that the Emperor's death was a bit lame, being chucked down the reactor shaft? You know, and you've seen all the build-up in the prequels.
Absolutely not, no.
No, do you still love it?
That's the coolest death of all time. That's how I hope I die.
Nick's favourite character, by the way, is the Emperor.
Just falling like, it's like, it's massive. He must have been falling for so long. Did he hit anything on the way down? He's like,
He must have been. I'm still alive, but I'm very badly burned.
Just think that with all his powers, it's like when people find out, well, how did he die? Who killed him? He just fell down a shaft.
Yeah, he sheaved him down a shaft.
Down a shaft.
I'm just kind of disappointed I didn't hit like the Millennium Falcon as he fell down.
You saw him floating in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, Darth Maul had a worse death than the Emperor, really. Well, he didn't die either, did he?
No.
Well, he didn't die.
So if Darth Maul didn't die getting chopped in half, surely the Emperor survived.
Yeah, well, there is a recurring theme of getting shafted in Star Wars, isn't there?
But like Luke survived, Darth Maul survived, so there is precedent for long falls and surviving. But then again, massive explosion. So it's like
there was a big explosion.
Whether he could land, because he was basically uninjured, wasn't he? Like other than just being really old, so he could have just landed, run to a shuttle, and flew off.
I can't imagine him running.
Because Jedis can jump great heights, can't they? And land. So
and he can even run
sleep.
fast as well. Like you see it in the Phantom Menace where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are fighting the droidekas, or what's the other name for them?
Droidecar.
Destroyers.
Yeah,
destroyers.
Master
destroyers.
So you're all happy with the Emperor's death, basically?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Just me thinks it's a bit lame.
Really? Why?
Just
Why do you
throw
think it's lame?
inside the
With all-
wagon.
I was fine with it.
Should have been
at
more
the
difficult.
I just think now, after when you look back now and you watch all 6 films, you'll be thinking, oh, he's going to get a really horrific death. They're going to like fry him and chop his head off. Everything, just choop over shaft.
Yeah, it's cool.
Here's a film for kids, though.
And it was
But
like...
you saw it was more like saying Darth
I know
Maul's-
middle-aged men like obsessing about it as well, but
Yeah. But no, it was lame's probably not the fair word. I just thought they've left it quite obvious that he could survive.
It's almost poetic in a way because Darth Vader was throwing away his inner demons, as well as the Emperor, all in one package.
Oh. And on that note, we shall end the Chosen Ones segment for this time. But I do think Palpatine is one of the best characters in the prequels. Actually,
Definitely, I think probably the best. Right, he's the only captivating person to watch in them films.
And Ian Dermond, whatever we call him.
Dermot.
His portrayal was amazing. So
Yeah.
And he's coming back to do the voice in Rebels, season 4,
great.
which is good stuff as well.
So you're going to get some
more Emperor Palpatine. I can't get enough.
Let us know what you think. If you want to see a spin-off film with Palpatine, who would you have play him? Would you like to see a Netflix series? If you want us to discuss him even more, just let us know and we'll discuss Palpatine to death.
He's already dead.
He's already dead.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Down a shaft.
Fair enough. We don't really do chaos at Accounts Direct, but we do offer a whole range of services to help your business run more effectively, more efficiently, and make more money. For more information, call 0161 832 1399 or visit our website www.accountsdirect.biz. Accounts Direct. Accountants on your side.
Okay, so we're now going to finish off the interviews that we did at Star Wars Fan Fun Day. And first of all, we're going to show you the interview we did with Femi Taylor, a.k.a. Oola from Return of the Jedi. Check it out. So we're here at Star Wars Fan Fun Day 2017, and it's not just fun day, it's a fun weekend this time because it's 10 years. Femi returning for the third time?
No, second time.
Second time?
Yeah, second time.
So I'm here with Femi Taylor, of course, from Return of the Jedi. But we're not going to talk about Star Wars first. We're going to talk about
what you were doing in show business, how you got involved in show business in the first place.
Right.
Before we start talking about that Star Wars that everyone wants to talk about.
I was. It's funny because when I was 4 years old, one of my best friends took me to a dance class, and I went. And I wasn't going to go, and and she said, "Why don't you come?" I don't really want to go. I want to, stay home and play with my dolls. And I went along, and I came back home. I said, "Mummy, I want to be a dancer. I really want to be a dancer." I found my passion when I was 4, and she said, "Well, darling, can you do the splits?" And I was trying to do the splits this way, and I was like, "Oh, I can't get down." She said, "Try the other way," and I tried. I went split like that. She said, "I think you'll be able to dance. You've got to be supple as well." So from being 4 years old, from my first dance class, I just suddenly thought it was a liberation. I found a passion. I found a purpose. And from then, I did all my dance classes every week, 3 times a week. I did all my ballet exams, dance exams. And then after my GCSEs, I got into this really good school called the London School of Contemporary Dance. I got in that, trained, and then there was an audition for this Weston show.
All right.
And back then, I wasn't allowed. We weren't allowed to audition. And if we auditioned, we got kicked out. So it was very, very secretive. And when I was trained, it was sort of contemporary. It wasn't it wasn't sort of jazz or the commercial side. I was going to get into the company. But anyway, I auditioned for this West End show, American show, and they gave me one of the parts. And so my dad said, "You have a choice. You get your equity card, you get experience, you can still train after that, or you can stay at the contemporary school. It'd be very hard to get into a company because there's only one really good company." And you know what path I chose? So I chose the chosen commercial side. Yeah.
That's the best form of education, really.
It is. No, absolutely.
Learn on the job.
Learn on the job, yeah.
Which is pretty much what we're doing here, to be honest.
Doing a very good job.
Thank you. So we've done that. You were involved in Cats as well?
Yes, from that, I went to Germany for 3 months and did a film there called the Apple Film, and then I auditioned for Cats, and again I wasn't going to audition. Something said, the higher forces said go and audition. I auditioned for Cats.
And you were in?
And I got in, the original cast, all those years ago.
So now we're going to talk about Star Wars.
Well, Star Wars comes up next.
Yes. So that's the next scene in the Femi Taylor film.
Yeah, chapter 2.
Yes, chapter 2. How did the role of Ula come to you?
Well, I was doing Cats at the time, and my agent called up and she said, "They're casting for this film, and they won't tell. Won't tell us what it is. I keep pestering, saying, what is it? They said, we can't say anything. But she's got to turn up. She's going to go. She's going to be able to dance, and she's going to go in her bikini and to meet the director at Twickenham Film Studios." So, being a trained dancer, I'm taking my career seriously. I thought this is just ridiculous, but I'll do something again. The higher forces told me to go along. Every time I'm not going to go, something pushes me to go.
Yeah.
And it's a life-changing decisions that come out of it. So I went along, and I saw the late Richard Marquand, and he asked me a few questions, and he said that, "Look, I'm so sorry, but I've asked you to come in your bikini because the role that you're going up for, we need to see your body shape, and we need to know if you can dance." So I reluctantly took off my coat and felt very, very conspicuous doing it, and then he just asked me to walk up and down, pray, and I did it anyway. And he said, you look all right. And then he said, "Well, I'd like to call you back for a second audition, but this time you've got to dance. Can you dance?" And I'm a really confident dancer. Absolutely, that's my path. So I went back and had this grueling audition, and still didn't know what it was. Still didn't tell us what it was. And then I was busy in my bag getting something, and someone said, "Here, what's this next? What's this all about?" I remember that. "What's this all about?" And they said, "Oh, it's the next Star Wars film." And then we went, "Oh my goodness!" And then when I went back, I was doing Cats at the time, so I went back that evening and took the choreographer back, and he said, "Femi, I don't want to say anything, but I think you've got the role." And then when I got back to the stage door, I had a call from my agent saying that can I call them the next morning, and they told me.
Amazing. So what was it like being on the actual set? What's your memories of shooting it for the first time?
I have lovely memories. But I had done a couple of films. Actually, I think I'd done one film before that, the Apple film. So I wasn't fazed by being on set and the magnitude of it all. It was just, for me, it was stepping into a job, doing it, and stepping out. But the set was great because it was in the palace. They built it. It was massive. We also had Carrie Fisher and Mark, the late Carrie Fisher, and Mark and Billy and Boba Fett, Jeremy Bullock and Mark Carter. I mean, I had the Harrison Ford. They're all there on set with me because they were shooting the scene before that and after. Kenny Baker, Anthony Dowd were all on my scene. It was fantastic, and the atmosphere was so lovely. Because again, all actors, we were just there to do our job, to make sure we did our job and go home again. But it was really nice. And there's lots of times I was just sitting on that phone, waiting for my scene to be shot.
Yeah.
We had little chats, and it was just really nice. It was like a family.
Amazing. So, and of course, the film came out and you were recognised all around the world, and this has obviously led to you coming out and going around the world again, doing all these signings and stuff like that. But then would it have been 96 maybe?
Oh yeah.
Because they came out in 97, you got another call to go back?
Yeah, it was 95, I got another call. Out of the blue, I got a call again saying that we're trying to find you. We were trying to find you for about 6 months, and they didn't think they were going to find me, and I had this other interview. I just had, to this day, I have no idea how they found me. And I didn't tell anybody I was going to New York. I just thought, how did they find me? And she managed, and I was staying in the Chelsea Hotel with my best friend. She's living there, and there was a message. I just don't know. Anyway.
Wow.
The high force
The Lucasfilm spies.
And they're spies. Good job. So that's how they found me. And they said, we'd like to revamp, but we probably have to blue screen Jabba because the technology had moved on. So,
yeah.
But the one main thing is you've got to fit in your original cost, because now we can merge things together. I wanted to have a continuous thing from Ula's, how she dies and what happens. So yeah.
And you didn't look any different. That was the main thing.
No, that was all good. If I looked different, they told me, they're Femi on the top.
So incredible.
Yeah.
And so, in terms of like the signings and stuff like that, how long's that been going on?
You know what? It's been going on for about 20 years, on and off. And I was doing Jesus Christ Superstar in the Lyceum in 1997. Such a long time ago. And I remember this director and the producer came, and I was going to do this film. It didn't happen. And then they said, there's a whole there's this business, this Star Wars convention. Have you done this? And no, I had no idea what they were. So that's how I was introduced to the Star Wars conventions back then. So
amazing.
It was 20 years, 20 years ago.
20 years, wow.
Yeah.
So what's next? What are you up to next?
I'm at the moment doing a play at the moment. It's going to be at the Chelsea Theatre. And my part plays someone, her daughter it's about addiction, or there's 5 main characters. One's addiction, one is alcoholism, one's homeless, it's an interesting subject. Mine's about addiction. My daughter gets addicted, and then I get addicted. Anyway, really good. It's really good. So I'm rehearsing for that. So I'm going to try and learn my lines at the moment. Remember them.
So we'll look forward to seeing that.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Femi Taylor.
Thank you.
Good old Femi Taylor, eh? Isn't she great?
Nice lady.
So next we're going to do the interview with Paul Weston, who's a legendary stuntman who's worked on Return of the Jedi, and he's also got parts in Rogue One. He worked on Rey's Lost Ark, loads and loads of stuff. Great guy. Check this out. Right, so we're here again at Star Wars Fan Fun Day 2017. It's the weekend as well, of course, and I'm sat here with Mr. Paul Weston, who of course was involved with Return of the Jedi, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and countless other films, including James Bond. That's right.
Yeah.
So, Paul, first of all, let's talk about how you got into stunt work and how you got into the film industry in the first place.
Well, I was an engineer in North London in the factory, and I didn't like it very much. It was very dirty, and I said to one of the older fellas there, I said, "Eric, how long have you been working here?" He said, 38 years, man and boy. I said, 38 years? I said, "Where'd you live?" He said, "Round the corner." I said, "You live round?" I said, "Have you always lived there?" He said, "No, I used to live round the other corner." I thought, I cannot do this for the rest of my life. So, and I knew in those days that the Evening Standard had 2 pages of situation vacants all over the world. So I went home, closed my eyes and pointed down, and I told myself whatever job that was, no matter where it was in the world, I was going to go after it. Until they said no, I was going to pursue them. And if they said no, I would go back and do it again. So I went home, opened up the pages, went like that, looked down, and it said the London School of Charm requires models. Leicester Square, London. This is ridiculous. I can't be a model. I was working in a factory, you know, company boy. So I thought, to be true to myself, I've got to phone up. As soon as they hear my voice, they say, no, thank you very much, and I'll be able to go and finish up in Alaska on the pipelines or anywhere in the world. But they hadn't said no, so I phoned up and they said, come along. So I thought, well, as soon as they see me, they'll say, yeah, they don't want me. But they said, yes, okay, come and be good.
Guys, this is the final call for
photographic and fashion model. So I became a photographic and fashion model.
Wow.
So that got me into the industry. And then I got an agent who sent me to understudy Roger Moore on the Old Saint series. And while I was doing that, I was standing in for Roger and doing bits and little parts. And one of the parts they gave me was a fight. And I had to fight one of the stuntmen, Fred Haggerty. And he had to throw me through some crockery and stuff. It was easy. So they said, oh, well, that was good. You did that well. Can you double for somebody else on the next episode? I said, how much? No? Yeah, absolutely. So then I started doing stunts, and I went on to do double for Steed on the Avengers, and all the guys all over all the TV series. Jason King, I had long hair and big moustache. So yeah, that was my start into the big movies, and then I got on to Dirty Dozen. Played a part in Dirty Dozen, and then got into A Bridge Too Far, stunts, and never stopped really. Superman 1, 2 and 3. So I was doubling for Chris Reed, and I was the stunt coordinator as well. So that really got me into the
wow, fantastic.
Big movies.
So, well, we're here to talk about Star Wars today, of course. So we need to talk a little bit about Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously, you'd had a massive career up until that point anyway. Done lots of big movies. I assume it was just another job.
Yes, yeah. They called me down to Pinewood and we tested all the costumes and whatever. Then they said, well, we're going over to California to do the exteriors. So I said, yes, fine. And suddenly we were in California. As they tried to keep it as quiet as possible, so that the film was called Blue Harvest, A Horror Beyond Imagination. And we were supposedly sneaking into America, really, because they didn't want anyone to know that the Star Wars people were there. So we was all in the queue going into Minneapolis and St. Paul. They didn't want us to go into LA because it was too direct.
Sure.
So we went into Minneapolis and St. Paul's, and the guys were a bit wary of us because we were told that we are to tell them that we were only tourists. So we were trying to sneak in, and they were very suspicious, the guards there, and they were asking us all sorts of questions. Oh no, I don't know him, and all that was going on. And they got Stuart Freeborn. It was his turn, and he had a little case with him, box. So they said, "What's in the case?" He said, "Well, it's just some stuff I'm bringing in." "What's in the case?" So he had to open it up and took out Chewbacca's head. And they went, "Oh, you're the Star Wars people, come in." And we just walked through. It was wonderful. But it was, once we was down there in Yuma, it was back down to work, and it was very hot, and especially in the costumes. We had, rubber hands, and they used to feed us through long straws and open up our mouths and put fans in there because it was as I say, 110, 120 sometimes. We were in the sand dunes, and the heat just coming off the sand was enough. And then when you got a fight, it was warm. But then I had a fight with Billy D. Williams and his stunt double, and his stunt double's cable broke, and he fell on top of me and broke my leg. So I fell into the Sarlacc pit with the broken leg.
You're joking.
Yeah.
So was that Corey D. Williams then, his son?
No, it was Julius Lafleur. But then later on, his son did a bit on it.
Took over, yeah. So you would have worked with Peter Diamond as well, I assume?
Yes, yeah. For many years with Peter. One of my first auditions was with Peter Diamond in 1964.
Wow. So that's a long time then.
Yeah.
So, so then from Return of the Jedi, you moved on, and you've just recently done a role in Rogue One, yeah?
Yes, I also was in Force Awakens. I doubled for Max von Sydow in the opening sequence.
Yeah.
And then they phoned me to play the engineer, one of the engineers on the Rogue One, and I've also done a bit on the one that's coming out.
Oh, fantastic!
On The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, right? So, what have you noticed in the difference since it's obviously the series is going over to Disney, and obviously there's been a lot of developments with technology since. But what have you noticed the difference between
apart from the paranoia
then and now? Oh, the paranoia, yeah.
You can't do anything, can't mention anything when you walk onto the set. When I was doing The Force Awakens, I went to makeup and hair, and then they said, we need you on the set. So they came to my dressing room, put a cloak over me and guided me onto the set. I did my bit, took the cloak off, I did my bit, put it back on. It helped me back to the... No one could see what I was wearing or whatever. It was just... The paranoia is amazing. But apart from that, the technology has gone on, and the biggest thing that I've noticed, and I used to love wire work because I did Aliens and I did Superman, and it was all wires, and is the wire work, that the technology that's gone into wire work these days is phenomenal. We get our guys, the stormtroopers, being wound back and flown all over the place. And that's not digitally enhanced, that is our stunt guys in those costumes being blown up and thrown around and whatever. So,
and then they could just rub the wires out then afterwards.
When I used to double fly for Superman, we took them down to 18 gauge piano wire, literally a cord from a piano. And it was so thin because they couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
If they wanted to get rid of wires, they had to blow up each frame and paint it out. So we would line up wires against buildings to see if we could get away with it. And then one time when the burglar was going up the side of the building on Superman 1, and Superman arrives and he falls backwards, I was doing that sequence where Superman flies down to catch him.
Oh, yeah.
And as I was flying, because we had the side of the building on the floor with the burglar crawling along the floor. And I was standing there and I took off over the top of him, but the wires broke and I fell on my head and broke my cheekbone and damaged my wrists. But the wires broke, and then we realised that wires do break. So then we started using Bowden cable, which is maybe up to 6 little thin wires, but all together. These days you can have a cable as thick as that on your back.
Yeah.
So when you see people doing high falls or whatever, or actors flying around, you know, they were safe as houses.
Yeah.
We were doing it for real, and on wires that really weren't safe.
The injuries to prove it.
Yes.
Well, I remember seeing an interview with Harrison Ford after the last Indiana Jones film, and they were saying that he was able to do, I know he doesn't say he does stunt work, he says he does running, jumping and falling down, but he was able to do more than he was in the other 3 films because of the wire work.
Yes,
so,
absolutely. And what was interesting is that when I broke my leg on Return of the Jedi, I was on crutches, and I was there for another week or so. And he would, if he wasn't working, he would drive me down to the town, and we would do a bit of shopping for the crew if anybody wanted anything. So he'd be driving, and we'd go into the shops, and the girls would say, "Oh, you're Harrison Ford, aren't you?" And he'd go, "No, I'm his stunt double. It's Harrison over there. There's me on crutches." So when I go on to the Force Awakens, I was waiting for Harrison to come out the stage to say hello after all those years, And suddenly everyone came out and said, "Everyone back to their dressing rooms. There's been an accident." And he broke his leg, and I couldn't get to him and help him like he helped me all those years before.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Well, Paul Weston, ladies and gentlemen.
Pleasure.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, folks, that brings us to the end again of Force Talk, a Star Wars podcast. We'll be back again, of course, in 2 weeks to dissect the hell out of more Star Wars stuff. But Michael, you've got a little something to share.
Yeah, I've got a couple of videos which will be uploaded onto the YouTube channel. It's my reviews of the Sideshow collectible Luke Snowspeeder pilot figure, 6 scale, and the Scout Trooper from Rogue One as well. So check those out on the YouTube channel.
Really quite gorgeous as well, those figures.
Nice.
Didn't you want to say hello to somebody?
I do. I just want to say hi to Beth and her boyfriend. I was on holiday for the last show. Had a great time in Madeira. So hi, Beth. Hope you're watching the show. Hope you're well.
Hello there. And we'll be seeing you again in 2 weeks' time. Until then, may the Force be with you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Right, so it's the end of the show.
It's the end of the show.
Let's keep the bubbliness going for just another couple of minutes.
Okay.
And then we can select.
Yes. Okay.
It's
We're
getting
rolling.
the cloth now.
Wank, I think.
That's it, yeah, that's going in.
So I'm just getting the energy up before the end. So there we go.
You got all the material you needed.
What did he say?
He said wank, I think.